she trying to do?
It's a pesticide. It's not the pesticide. Chiropractor bill.
I want to hear discussion. I'm a little concerned. I'm not sure where I'm going.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the House Agriculture and Natural Resources Committee. Clerk, please open the roll and members log in and enter your presence. Clerk, please take the roll.
Mr. Chairman, we have 16 members present. We have a quorum.
Thank you, sir. And at this time, I would call on Representative Hurt to lead us in a prayer and a pledge. If everyone, please stand, please.
Please pray with me. Dear Lord, thank you for this day, and thank you for each and every one of these individuals that have made it to this committee meeting. Dear Lord, please be with each member up here as we make decisions to improve the status of our state and to do the things we can to help improve it. Dear Lord, please be with each and every person in this room as we go through this day, that your will would be done through them, and that you would watch over them and keep them safe as their travels today, as they travel back home wherever they may go. Again, dear Lord, we thank you for all the many blessings you bestowed upon us, and pray that you'd be with us in all we do. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any personal orders today? Representative Doggett, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. I have a constituent with me today, Miss Amelia McCullough. She's in the back of the room. If you would stand up, she is shadowing today, so help her feel welcome. Thank you.
Representative Vital.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know we have a lot of individuals here for Outdoor Day, but I do want to recognize the folks from Hamilton County and the Trust for Public Land. Thank you for what you do for our Greenway and Riverwalk in Chattanooga. Thank you.
Representative Darby.
Thank you there, Mr. Chairman. I've got a good friend with me here today. He's a little bit out of my district, but Bradley Arnold and his son Noah, they're here with the auctioneers. Welcome them.
And I would like to welcome the auctioneers today. I have the Tennessee Auctioneer Association. And also with them, we have Shane McCarroll, the 2024 International Auctioneer Champion, and he's a fellow Tennessean. He competed against 79 contestants from around the world this past summer at the contest in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We appreciate you guys being here with us, and thank you for the donuts and coffee this morning. Also want to recognize Sharon Siebert with the Murfreesboro Water Resources Department. She is here with a group of students who won the Water Visionaries Contest, and they're interested in how their state government works. So we appreciate you being here as well. Y'all give them a warm welcome. Representative Fritz, you're welcome. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd just like to take time to welcome, I think Jacob Farr is out here from Rockwood with us today. Give him a big warm welcome.
Also, we have a lot of folks in our presence celebrating Outdoor Day on the Hill. The outdoors in Tennessee means a lot to Tennesseans. It has an impact of over $13 billion to our state, and each year creates over 103,000 jobs for our Tennessee citizens and puts $1.2 billion in tax revenue directly into our state general fund. This is something that all Tennesseans benefit from. Today is Outdoor Day on the Hill, which is designed to engage members of the General Assembly of the people in priorities shaping Tennessee's great outdoors. The event is coordinated through the Tennessee Outdoor Partnership, a public-private partnership representing 8 state agencies, including the Departments of Environment and Conservation, Agriculture, Tourism, Economic and Community Development, Health, Transportation, the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, and the University of Tennessee, alongside private industry leaders like the Nature Conservancy and Tennessee Wildlife Federation. TDEC's Office of Outdoor Recreation works to facilitate the outdoor partnership. I want to recognize some of the members of the Tennessee Outdoor Partnership. Many of them are in attendance today. Commissioner Jim Bryson, Finance Administration and the Governor's Office designee, Commissioner David Salyers of the Department of Environment and Conservation, Commissioner Charlie Hatcher, Department of Agriculture, Commissioner Mark Ezell of the Department of Tourist Development, Jason Maxedon, the Executive Director of TWRA, Brooksy Carlton, the Assistant Commissioner of Rural Development at ECD, Justin Reinhardt, Dean of the University of Tennessee Institute of Agriculture, Mike Butler of the Tennessee Wildlife Federation, Lauren Creech of the Nature Conservancy, Clay Gary of TVA, and Brian Clifford, the Director of the Office of Outdoor Recreation. Thank you all for helping shine a bright light on conservation and outdoor recreation in our state. At 11 o'clock today, outside in the plaza, will be the Outdoor Expo. I want to invite everyone to that. It's going to highlight some of the Tennessee's great outdoors, including its tourism and outdoor recreation industries. I invite you all to attend the Outdoor Expo, especially if you want to see the House beat the Senate in the archery competition at 11:30. And I'm going to do my best to be out there. I've got committees straight through that time frame, but I might be able to slip out for a shot or two. But I am used to shooting an arrow with a string attached. So, Jason, I don't know how I'm going to do on that one. We'll see. Also, at that expo, there will be lunch. And then this evening, members, is a reception at the Tennessee Brew Works. And the folks have organized shuttle buses for us on the back of the building from 4 to 6 p.m. and will get us all back from that event. So we'll keep that in mind. We also have available at the Sergeant of Arms station, when you exit, a handout that the outdoors folks provided for us today. So each one of you grab one of those. Chairman Grills, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Would it be fitting now if we could go out of session and have Commissioner Ezell say a few words?
If we can keep him to a few words, when he's bragging on the state of Tennessee, it can go long, and I think that goes for all of us. So without objection, we'll go out of session. We're out of session. Commissioner, welcome. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you. I get the honor of representing the group, and we will be brief. Less than 2 minutes. But I think, first of all, I would just want to say, really, we can thank our Creator for giving Tennessee some terrific outdoors. And so that's what we get to rally around, is how beautiful that is. And, folks have been promoting outdoors for decades. In fact, one particular one, all I need to do is put this hat right here to give an example of the kind of people that for 60 years have been promoting. Bill Dance has been promoting the great outdoors to people all across the country. And informally, this group started several years ago under the direction of Governor Lee for us and TWRA, especially in state parks and TDEC and all the other groups, Ag and ECD and Health and the different private groups got together to say, let's do a Bill Dance signature lakes to promote those lakes. Later, we've done the Bike Tennessee, and for us, Dennis Tumlin and Jenny Veal get to be a part of this group. And y'all, what's really exciting is this group has formally now come together under TDEC and under Brian Clifford and the folks at the Tennessee Outdoor Partnership to every day, and grab programs like Blue Ways to every day get together cross-departmentally and say, how do we come together to do the best for Tennesseans and for visitors about our great outdoors? So it's a real honor for us to be here. Thank you for the celebration on Outdoor Day on the Hill. And we're grateful to our industry who are coming with their boats, manufacturers, and all the different folks. And many of them are here today, and we get to celebrate them. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. And there's an awful lot to brag about. And I've been really encouraged the last few years to learn of just how many boat manufacturers we have in this state. I love boats, so bring it on. I'm glad y'all got them here.
On behalf of all of us, we thank you.
Thank you all. Seeing no others, I thank you for speaking for the group. Chairman Grills, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also wanted to introduce a longtime friend of mine, Mr. Drew Williams, back here in the corner. He's a monster of a man, about 6'6", and he take care of a lot of folks if he needs to. He's my bodyguard today, but no, he's been a longtime friend. He and I grew up together. His mother was my kindergarten teacher, and he knows enough on me to sink me for a long time. But always good to see my friend.
Well, and I also want to recognize a couple of folks that are here from Union University shadowing me today. I have Stacy Aldridge and I have Lane Pyron, both of them from Jackson. If y'all would stand up. I say from Jackson. I think Lane's actually from Memphis. So thank y'all for being here with us today. Without objection, we'll go back into session. We are now in session, and I believe that's taken care of the preliminaries. So we'll get right into our calendar. We have first on the list House Bill 1302. We have a motion and a second, and Representative Jones, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a bill from the Department of Agriculture that is the Meat and Poultry Act that was passed in 2023. This bill just creates a program that puts this in alignment with the federal program, the federal meat inspection program. So with that, I stand open for questions.
Okay, do we have any questions for our sponsor? Representative Reedy, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm seeing an amendment. Are we going to add an amendment to this?
We do have an amendment, Representative Jones. Can you give us the drafting code?
Yes, 5116,
Okay,
and the
that's-
amendment makes the bill.
Okay. We have a motion and a second on the amendment. If you're ready to vote on that, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? The amendment goes on the bill. So we now have the bill as a draft, the bill as amended in front of us before the committee. Any other comments or questions? Representative Reedy?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Representative Jones. I know that you're new to the House, but I'm excited about this bill. When Governor Lee came in, working with Department of Agriculture, we've had this conversation. Then when COVID hit, we still continued with that conversation, and always it was the funding and understanding the funding, working with USDA. So I think this is the final piece to the puzzle, and I appreciate the legislation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for that. Any other questions or comment? Seeing none, if you're ready to vote, we'll be voting on House Bill 1302 as amended. Please enter your vote. Mr. Clerk, please open the voting board. Has every member voted? Any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, we have 16 ayes, no nays.
The motion carries, and this bill moves on to Government Operations Committee.
Thank you, Chairman and committee.
Next, I will tell you what, without objection, we'll roll item 2 to the heel of the calendar. Without objection, that is rolled to the heel. We'll move on to item number 3, which is House Bill 164 by Speaker Marsh. We have a motion and a second. You are recognized on House Bill 164, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do have an amendment, drafting code 4580.
We do have that. We also have another amendment here as well. Chairman Grills?
Yes, sir.
Did you want to roll this First Amendment?
Roll it to the heel, please.
Okay, without objection, we'll roll this First Amendment to the heel. So that one is to the heel. We have amendment number 2, which is by Representative Alexander, drafting code 6373. Representative Alexander, you're recognized. We have a motion, second on that amendment.
Thank you. This amendment would require a chiropractor who wants to practice on animals and has taken the additional course to establish a provider agreement with a licensed veterinarian in Tennessee. And that is because if something goes wrong, we need that veterinarian to be a part of those decision makings. The amendment would also require the Board of Chiropractic Examiners to develop rules in conjunctions with the Board of Veterinary Medical Examiners to define the roles and responsibilities for relationship considered in the provider agreement in order to safeguard animal patients, including the handling of emergencies. This amendment takes in consideration that the chiropractors want to practice on animals with full autonomy, so supervision by a veterinarian is not contemplated in this language. However, the veterinarians want to be involved in the care of the animal to ensure proper diagnosis. So this is an attempt to create an opportunity for collaboration.
Thank you for that. I would go to our bill sponsor, Speaker Marsh, now to let us know if this is a friendly amendment.
Mr. Chairman, this is not a friendly amendment. This would basically put it back where it is right now, which is what we're trying to fix with this legislation. So I would ask that this amendment not be put on the bill.
Okay. Any other comments or questions on the amendment? Seeing none, if you're ready to vote on the amendment number 2 by Representative Alexander, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. The noes have it. Amendment fails. Now we're back on amendment number 1 for the, which rewrites the bill. Any questions or comments on that? We want to go ahead and put that on the bill. Okay, we'll go ahead and put that on if you so desire. All in favor of the amendment by Speaker Marsh, drafting code 4580, say aye. Opposed? The amendment goes on the bill. So now we're on the bill as amended. Speaker Marsh, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill concerns animal chiropractic work. The primary purpose of the bill is to establish educational standards which must be met by chiropractic physicians and veterinarians who perform animal chiropractic work. Chiropractors and veterinarians that receive additional training and certification in animal chiropractic care should register with their boards and be able to provide chiropractic care on the animals. Animal chiropractic, the definition is the evaluation and treatment of a non-human's vertebrae or extremity joint dysfunction through spinal, joint, or musculoskeletal manipulative therapy and soft tissue therapy. Animal chiropractic does not include performing surgery, dispensing or administering medications, or performing traditional veterinarian care. These animal chiropractic folks are under a 7-member board with an executive director. Schooling, they have to have a college degree and then 4 years of chiropractic degree. And then on top of that, another 210 hours to be able to work on animals. We've been doing this for over 100 years. We've had a certification since 1989. And the problem is that the veterinarians have all of a sudden come out and say that they want the folks that have these animals to bring the animal to the veterinarian first before they take it to a chiropractic, animal chiropractic. This will add, in my opinion, a lot more expense. If you're taking your dog or horse to a veterinarian first, which is what they want, and then to a chiropractor, you're definitely going to be paying more money. You're going to be paying twice, in my opinion. These are animals, not humans. And even in our humans, we don't have to go to a doctor before we go to a chiropractor. This should be left up to the owners of the animal to have a choice. If you have a choice, you can take it to a veterinarian if you'd like, or you can take it to a chiropractic if you like, or you could take it to both. But what they're trying to say is you have to take it to a vet first. Well, I do have a couple of people today that would like to testify on this, and I think the veterinarians also have someone that they would like to have testify. If you wouldn't mind, we might go out and hear from what they have to say.
Yes, sir. That was next on my list to do that. We have a list of folks here. So without objection, we will go out of session to hear from our guest. We are out of session. I'll call up Dr. Mary Ergen first and Michael Towns. If y'all would approach, and we'll let Ms. Ergen go first. You'll have 3 minutes. Just state your name, who you're with, and then give us your testimony. And then we'll hear from Mr. Towns. And then if the committee has questions for you, we'll open up for questions. So Ms. Ergen, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for the time gifted to me this morning to talk about animal welfare in the state of Tennessee. My name is Dr. Mary Ergen. I'm a veterinarian in Nashville with a background in food animal, equine, and companion animal medicine. I also am a member of the executive board of the American Veterinary Medical Association. 50 years ago, this esteemed body created the College of Veterinary Medicine at the University of Tennessee in Knoxville because the legislature realized there was a lack of quality animal care in this state. Since then, you have thankfully continued to support the college and their directives of education, research, and clinical practice for current and future veterinarians. Veterinary care in Tennessee is now evidence-based animal medicine and has tremendously improved the quality of life for many of the 60% of Tennesseans who are among the owners of 4.3 million pets and over 200,000 horses in this state. This bill allows individuals who are not veterinarians and who are performing procedures that are not even considered core chiropractic treatments by their own national organization to diagnose and treat animals without an educated veterinarian first evaluating the animal and determining that the animal would even benefit from chiropractic therapy. Untrained owners and undertrained individuals should not be determining if or why an animal is painful. There are countless reasons that animals can limp, arch their back, or hold their head funny, not just from neck, back, or muscle pain. Time does not allow me to list these diseases, but diagnosis of these conditions needs to be timely and often requires skills, evaluations, and tests that only veterinarians are trained and allowed by law to do. I understand that animals are personal property and owners can do what they want, but we are veterinarians and we have been entrusted by you and the public of Tennessee with the care of these magnificent beings who, unlike my car or TV, do feel pain. Veterinarians often work with animal care teams of owners, producers, groomers, trainers, breeders, farriers, handlers, and yes, integrative practitioners such as chiropractors and physical therapists. But we should be the coach, a coach to analyze the situation and come up with a game plan, keep the stats to monitor success, work with all the players to be sure that everyone has the same expectations and goals, and change the strategy if we are not winning. All we're asking is that similar to animal physical therapy treatments, animals have veterinary evaluation before starting chiropractic care. And if that care is not making forward progress, veterinarians should be asked to perform a reevaluation so that chiropractic care does not go on and on without positive results and possibly allowing some conditions to become irreversible. You trust the state to veterinarians to abide by our oath of protecting animal health and welfare and preventing and relieving animal suffering. So please let us do our jobs and vote nay on this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ergen. And next we'll have Mr. Towns. You're recognized.
I'm Dr. Michael Towns. I'm a veterinarian in Trousdale County, Tennessee, and I represent the TVMA as president-elect and represent veterinarians from all across the state. This bill will allow human chiropractors to diagnose and treat animal disease. It's the only instance where a licensing board other than the Board of Veterinary Medical Examiners will license, certify, and discipline individuals to practice veterinary medicine. Diagnosing, prescribing treatments, performing surgery, and giving a prognosis are core fundamentals of veterinary practice. And allowing human chiropractors to diagnose and treat animal disease is unprecedented, and it will endanger animal health and well-being. Human chiropractors do not possess the requisite training, knowledge, expertise, equipment, sedation, handling requirements to diagnose animal diseases and identify animals that would benefit from chiropractic care or be harmed by chiropractic care. This bill sets a dangerous precedent and opens a door to allow the destruction of veterinary medicine. The door that gets cracked open today will get kicked down tomorrow. The large animal veterinary practice will be the first on the chopping block. The very people pushing for this bill will be the ones crying that there aren't enough large animal veterinarians. Animals are our property. We should never give animals human rights, but We don't allow a lot of things in animals. We don't allow dog fighting. We don't allow cockfighting. We don't allow soaring and walking horses. There are many laws that prevent animals from suffering, and this bill will allow for animals to suffer through the misdiagnosis and delayed treatment or improper treatment. No doubt there should be shouts of controversy if a veterinarian started adjusting animals and their owners. Veterinarians don't practice on people, and human practitioners shouldn't practice on animals, especially without a veterinarian's diagnosis. Dr. Bob Parker, he's a veterinarian animal chiropractor. He just was discussing a case where a dog come in that was having obvious signs of back pain. Him and the owner both thought it had obvious signs of back pain. There was no neurological deficits. We took an x-ray, a big tumor in the dog's abdomen. Took the tumor out and the back pain went away. If he'd have started with chiropractor care, he's an animal chiropractor. If he started with chiropractic care, the dog would have suffered and died. When I was in vet school, Dr. Thomas, the board-certified neurologist, showed the veterinary class 2 videos, 2 dogs. Well, we couldn't tell the difference in what was wrong with them. One of them had a bulging disc in its back, and the other one had bilateral cruciate tears in its knees. Both its knees was blowed out. We couldn't tell the difference, and neither can they. There will be far-reaching.
Thank you, sir. We will have an opportunity for questions. And first on our list, we have Representative Alexander.
Thank you. Ms. Mary, I think that was your name, correct?
Yes.
Can you tell us about the education you received in order to be able to diagnose animals?
You're
Yes.
recognized.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. I went to the University of Tennessee. They had a pre-veterinary program. I was lucky to be there at the time when you established the College of Veterinary Medicine there. So I had 4 years of an animal science degree, and then actually it was a 3-year program of veterinary school.
And can you mentioned earlier about you didn't have time to talk about all the elements. Can you give us some examples of elements that might be difficult to find unless you are a veterinarian?
Sure. There's many diseases. Sometimes hairline fractures can, animals only have a few ways of showing pain. So there's lots of different conditions. Hairline fractures, internal tumors, as Dr. Towns had mentioned, even diabetes or Cushing's disease, some endocrine diseases which require blood work can show up as a lameness or an arched back. Dental pain can show up as a stiff neck. There are obviously torn muscles and torn ligaments and stuff that require surgery to repair.
Representative Alexander.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, I have Representative Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Representative Alexander asked my first question about the 300 hours that animal chiropractors have to your 3 years. And so just want to make that clear for the committee. My second question, I saw a lot of veterinarians in here as the sponsor was speaking, shaking their head at certain points. I want to get some clarification on a few things. The first point that the sponsor brought up was that for humans, if you go to a chiropractor, you don't have to go to a medical doctor first. Can you explain why humans and animals would be different in this circumstance?
Sure. But I guess you want me to speak again. Thank you. So I have been to a chiropractor, and the first thing they did was take x-rays. That's not being done on the animals. They wouldn't be able to take x-rays. Only a veterinarian would be able to do that. And those x-rays help diagnose whether my condition could be helped with chiropractic care. Also, fortunately, I have health insurance, and that limited the number of treatments that every time I checked in, I had to say, yes, I'm better, or no, I'm not. And if I wasn't making forward progress, the insurance company was going to talk to this chiropractor and see why we weren't getting anywhere. And that's another component that we want to have integrated into this relationship. It shouldn't just be going on and on without some type of reevaluation and being sure that that animal is becoming less and less painful.
Representative Jones.
Thank you. So I guess the big difference is humans can speak. They can opt in, they can opt out, where animals don't have that same accessibility.
Just to say, yes, we're relying on an owner who lives with that animal, knows that personality, to make the initial diagnosis that that animal is painful. At that point, it needs to be done by a veterinarian.
Representative Jones.
Thank you. I really like the analogy you used of, being a coach. Like, this is not about impeding on the rights of chiropractors. It's not about, gatekeeping, but it's about working in tandem because you have a set of tools in your toolkit that maybe chiropractors don't have. Can you kind of talk a little bit about that? We had an amendment that was seeking to have some type of common ground. What would be a way forward for the veterinarian practice and some of the veterinarians? We've been getting emails from all across the state. I want to say, I think we got 100 emails from veterinarians across the state opposing this. And so is there like a compromise? Because I know the sponsor also characterized this as a quote unquote turf war between chiropractors and veterinarians, but it seems like your interest is only the well-being of the animals. And so can you kind of talk about what that would look like being the coach and why that would be necessary in this instance?
Ms. Sargent.
So I practice in Goulitsville and Davidson County, and we involve, we were the first in Nashville to have animal physical therapy called physical rehabilitation in animals. So I have a human physical therapist. He has gone through a training program, a multi-year training program at the University of Tennessee to do physical therapy on animals. Every single patient that he has is referred by a veterinarian. He will not see a patient without that referral. So that's really all we were asking with chiropractors is have a veterinarian in on the front end to be sure that the chiropractic care is going to be beneficial for that animal. It's a small ask. I mean, we as veterinarians, we are entrusted with the welfare of those animals. That is our only interest, is that the animal get better if possible. So let us make the diagnosis, come up with the game plan, and prescribe that treatment.
Thank you.
Representative Halsey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thanks for being here. The sponsor said that this practice has been going on for a long time. Why now is the objection or the recommendation that you have to talk to a vet before you can talk to anybody else?
Ms. Ergen.
So veterinary medicine has been going on for hundreds of years. It's improved a lot. And like I said, the establishment of the college that you support in Knoxville has changed how veterinary medicine is practiced in Tennessee. It's much more sophisticated. You can have MRIs and CT scans and all kinds of things that didn't exist 100 years ago. So if you want to compare what happens now in medicine, even human medicine, to what happened 100 years ago, I don't think that's a very fair comparison. We've come a long way. The integrity of animal care and the requests from the public and the demands from the public about the quality of the animal care that we provide now compared to 100 years ago is not even apples and oranges.
Representative Halsey.
Okay, I agree with you. The advancements that veterinary medicine has made, but what I'm asking is this bill that's presented today, why, if it's been going on, as the sponsor says, why is it an issue now? Have you found animal chiropractors that are not doing their job or failing at their job or complaints about them? Or why are we here on this bill at this particular time?
Ms. Ergen.
One of my other duties that I do is I do look at complaints from the public for the licensing board for veterinarians. And without going into details, there have been complaints against chiropractors and harm that they have caused on animals.
Representative Halsey.
My gut feeling, when I didn't grow up in this state, grew up in Colorado and had horses and cattle and chickens and ducks and even pheasants. But we did most of our own business. Took care of most of our stuff. It kind of rubs me a little bit backwards for the state to dictate that before you can exercise a practice, that you have to go to another practice and get approval first. Before they can do what they think is good work or a good job. I wouldn't like that if somebody said I can't go to this mechanic until I go to this other mechanic to tell me that I can go to this mechanic. And that kind of thing rubs me kind of backwards a little bit. What's your reply to that?
Ms. Ergen.
So I am an animal science major. I certainly understand that producers in this state have the abilities and the skills to do standard farm procedures on their own animals. The thing about going straight to a chiropractor is, what if you went to the veterinarian and your dog actually had a ruptured cruciate tendon, which is extremely common, and needs surgery, and chiropractic care is not going to benefit that animal at all. You can do chiropractic care for 100 years and that dog is still going to limp because his knee's blown out. So you may not have to pay twice. Maybe you only pay the veterinarian and you get an accurate diagnosis that may not even involve chiropractic care. If it does look like it is a sore back and not a ruptured disc that would need surgery, or a sore neck, or a pulled muscle that chiropractic care can help, then certainly I don't want to do chiropractic care. My little hands are not going to adjust a horse's back. I can tell you that much. So of course I would send that to a person that has those skills, but I want to be able to be sure that that's why I'm doing that for the right reason, and that animal will get better. I don't want, if it's another reason that's causing that animal pain and we're not addressing that on the front end, then I failed that animal. And that's what my oath says I'm not supposed to do.
Representative Alexander.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but our Act of Practice for veterinarians also actually includes some chiropractic care. Also, correct me if I'm wrong, that the courses that they take to be in the 300 hours that they take also includes advice that they work with the veterinarian. Is that correct?
Ms.
Yes,
Hardy.
ma'am. I believe I've tried to nail that down, that they, in that course, I could see on the fringes that they work with a veterinarian. I couldn't get hold of the course content, but in talking to other veterinarians in other states that have similar problems with the chiropractors trying to not have a veterinarian in the loop, they have all stated that in that course that the chiropractors do agree that they will work with a veterinarian. And you're right. Right now, anybody that is not a veterinarian that is practicing as a chiropractor on animals is breaking the law.
We really appreciate you guys being here. We do have some more folks on our list to testify, and there may be more questions there. We have Tiffany Stevens and Dr. Richard Cole here as well. I understand. If y'all would approach. We'll give you 3 minutes each. We'll let Ms. Stevens go first. Just state your name for the record and who you're with, and then you'll have 3 minutes.
Me first? Okay. Hello, good morning. Thank you, committee. I'm Tiffany Stevens, Executive Director of the Tennessee Chiropractic Association. I represent chiropractic, which is widely known and treats millions of patients, human patients, and recognized as non-invasive, drug-free method to improve mobility and quality of life. Today, what we're discussing is that provision, that safe and effective care, but adjacent on animals. Chiropractors are physician-level trained providers already entrusted with treating everyone from infants to seniors, even those, as mentioned, non-speaking. With over 210 additional hours, and again, that's a base, many of the programs have more than those hours. That specialized animal care education, chiropractic physicians can treat animals safely and effectively. Animal chiropractic is not veterinary medicine. It is not surgery. It's not pharmaceuticals. Instead, it focuses on the spine, musculoskeletal system to help animals move better, feel better, and perform better to live healthier lives. Whether it's a working dog, a show horse, or a beloved family pet, this care can be made a profound difference in the animals' lives, and it complements the services that the veterinary medicine does, not replaces it. Other states have enacted comparable measures, have done so successfully, practicing independent under their boards without issue. Equally, veterinarians provide similar service, should be regulated as well. They do not have training in chiropractic care or chiropractic services and should not provide them under their scope of practice without this training. This This chiropractors and veterinarians created this organized training and structure and the certification and examination all together, respecting equally both professions throughout the process. It should be noted, while care to animals have been given for years, this certification has been around since 1989. It was stated previously that we are here today because there has not in Tennessee been a definitive to make clear lines to protect both professions. That is what we believe this bill does. We ask for your support on this bill today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Stevens. And Mr. Cole?
Hey, I'm Dr. Richard Cole. I'm Chairman Todd. Thanks a lot for letting us be here today, and thank you for the committee for letting us talk to you. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. I'm the Vice President of the Tennessee Chiropractic Association, and I speak in favor of the bill today. There's two salient points, in my opinion, on this bill. One is a public protection initiative, and the second is a freedom of choice for the owners. Regarding public protection, this bill establishes competency standards for veterinarians and chiropractic physicians who wish to provide chiropractic services to animals. The American Veterinary Chiropractic Association, which is the AVCA we've been talking about, has been identified by U.S. jurisdictions and international organizations as an entity best suited to prepare vets and chiropractors to provide chiropractic services to animals. We ask that the committee raise the standards for veterinarians and chiropractors who wish to provide services to animals and require this certification. Regarding freedom of choice, chiropractic services for animals continues to grow in popularity, and many owners wish to provide these healthcare services to their animals. This bill will allow animal owners the right to make the decision, a value decision, regarding what's best for their animals. Chiropractors are physicians with broad diagnostic capability and differentially diagnose our patients on a regular basis. The same diagnostic capability rests with chiropractic physicians treating animals. AVCA chiropractors with the additional training to differentially diagnose will be evaluating the animal and referring as needed to ensure the animal is getting the proper care that they need. This bill would require certification by AVCA, which would be in the best interest of the animal. Current AVCA standards of services require that the animals be current. The standard of care for AVCA practitioners requires that the animal be current with their veterinarian before the chiropractor would treat them. This allows another level of protection for the animal by chiropractors being in the market, evaluating animals, and ensuring that all animals are seeing their veterinarian on a regular basis. In reality, AVCA certified chiropractors desire to work closely with veterinarians in practice. They will. They have for many years, and this bill will allow them to continue to do so as we reach into the future. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, sir. And I think we do have a couple of questions. Representative Shaw, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you all for being back again. Been sitting here listening. I don't think there's an argument about who do what. I think you're a professional in your field. I think the veterinarians are professions in their field. I highly respect the sponsor of this bill. But here's why I'm troubled. Just the opposite for my colleague to my left is, why is it that we don't want the same thing for animals that we want for humans? And I think I made this point last week. When my doctor refer me, they refer me to the person that can find the problem. And I wouldn't want my doctor referring me to somebody that don't know anything about the problem. So I guess my question to you is, what is wrong with the veterinarians who have prepared themselves for sending you an animal if they need to send you that animal, or vice versa? But since you all are not veterinarians, why would you want to start chiropractic service on an animal when you don't know what the diagnoses are? That's what I can't comprehend, because we do that for human beings. So we're setting a precedent here. I've been on this committee for years, and we're about to set a precedent that I don't think is going to be good for us in the long run, because we do care about our animals. Those of us who have, we care about them, and we care about them just like we do humans. So we are asking, we're about to do something for animals different from what we do from human beings. last week I made this point, and I'll be brief, that my doctor sent me to a cardiologist for my heart because she doesn't know anything about hearts. But I went to her first. I had to pay her. So I don't know why money is the issue here when we want the best for our animals. Can you answer that question?
Thank you, Representative Shaw. I appreciate you very much. That's an excellent question, and here's the way we'll answer it. Chiropractors are portal of entry healthcare providers for humans right now. And we're asking for you to allow the animals to be allowed to see the chiropractor as a portal of entry healthcare provider as well. We diagnose patients every day in our offices, and we send them to cardiologists and GI doctors and different doctors on a regular basis. And animal chiropractors do the very same thing. They diagnose the animal, they find out what's wrong with it, and they refer the animals to the veterinarian that need advanced care or medicine or surgery. Representative Alexandra had a great point earlier when she talked about the anterior cruciate, or the Dr. Marion. The anterior cruciate tear is an easy diagnosis for a doctor that's trained in veterinary training, and also for chiropractors that are trained in veterinary diagnosis, because that's an easy diagnosis. You don't have to have an x-ray machine for it. Actually, x-ray machine just tells you if the joint structures are intact, but the ligaments don't show up on x-ray. So it's a physical exam that has to be done. And every animal is going to have to be diagnosed by the chiropractor before it's treated, so you'll know what you're dealing with. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to evaluate just like your primary care provider did. And she does know about hearts, by the way. That's why she sent you to the cardiologist and not the GI doctor. So she knows where to send you, and chiropractors will be evaluating the animals to know exactly where to send them, and even to which specific veterinarian. So if you had an anterior cruciate tear, they would actually send that veterinarian back to the primary veterinarian, or with a call, maybe to an orthopedic veterinarian, to make sure that knee was properly surgically corrected.
Representative Shaw.
I know time is of essence. So you telling me that the chiropractor can immediately identify what's wrong with that animal? Because I know the veterinarians brought up some scenarios that seems to be different from what you're saying. But you're saying that when we bring our animal to a chiropractor, that chiropractor can immediately discover what's wrong with that animal and know whether or not to try to treat the animal or send the animal to some other specialist. That's what y'all do.
Dr. Cole.
Representative Shaw, immediate is not the standard, but the standard is to be appropriate. There is appropriate diagnostic protocols that you follow when you work up a patient, whether it's an animal patient or a human patient, and those protocols have to be followed. And just like Dr. Marion said, you can follow that animal and make sure you get it right, because if they're not responding properly, then you want to go ahead and do something different, evaluate them differently. And that's exactly what chiropractors do when they treat animals. They evaluate them. They come up with a diagnostic profile. We call it a differential diagnosis, a list of things we think are probable in hierarchy. And then we work the diagnosis, and we work the patient, and we see if the patient's responding. And if they're responding, great, then we're fine. If they're not responding, we go back and rethink it, and then call in extra help if we need it.
Representative Shaw.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You just keep saying things to make me ask questions, and I don't have all day, so I know I need to move on. But so we don't know how long that animal might be at that chiropractor's office before that chiropractor can determine what's wrong or where to send that animal. We could be talking about a week, 2 or 3 weeks, and could be a matter of the animal's lifetime, from what I'm hearing you say. But thank you for your comments.
Dr. Cole.
Representative Shaw, I think we are held to the same standard as the veterinary medicine doctor. We've got to come up with what's appropriate, and we've got to work the animal as appropriate, and we've got to refer them as appropriate, and we'll do that.
Thank you, sir. Representative Jones.
Thank you. And thank you for being here again. I had a few questions to either of you. The first one, just so I can kind of understand this a little better, because chiropractic for animals is new, something new learning on this committee. Can you talk to me about the difference in the skeletal and muscular systems of, for example, a horse versus a human, and how would the care be different? Can you explain that?
Dr. Cole.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Representative Jones, thanks for representing Shelby County. I appreciate it very much. And
Davidson.
Davidson. Well, I know you pretty well, but I appreciate it. That's right. You are Davidson County. Thank you. I lost my train of thought. Oh, one of the things for the first animal that I actually studied was a cat. When I diagnosed a cat, the reason I dissected a cat in my early training as being a physician was because there's a tremendous amount of synergy between animals and humans. In fact, as you well know, they do studies on animals to evaluate how they're going to respond so they can extrapolate that to how humans might respond to different drugs and different procedures and different protocols. So one of the things about animals is that we are made very much the same. The nervous system is almost identical between all the animals out there that are what we call vertebrate animals. So animals that have spines and skeletal structures are very much similar. There's differences in the way we walk, the way we move, but the structures are very, very identical.
Representative Jones?
So how many did you go through the training? You had 300 hours of training to be, how many, did any of you go through the training to be a chiropractor for animals?
I missed the question. The question was, what's the training to be an animal chiropractor?
No, did either of you go through it?
I did not. No, sir.
No, I am not a doctor of chiropractic, but I have extensively studied their program. It's all online and available for you to review and see. Again, I want to note that it was done by veterinarians and chiropractors. So 210 hours is the floor. Many of the programs actually exceed and go beyond that for more. It's both a didactic training, which is the educational part. It encompasses animal diagnoses. It encompasses specific animal issues. And then there is a hands-on component of that training. Additionally, there is an extensive certification course.
Dr. Cole?
Also, Chairman Todd and Representative Jones, the bill calls for continued 6 hours of training every year that this chiropractor wishes to continue to work on animals. So there's not a one-time deal. There's going to be continued learning throughout the process of their licensure.
Representative Jones?
You know, we just heard from veterinarians, and I think it would have been helpful to have a chiropractor of animal medicine for animals here, because the veterinarians gave us so many scenarios where, you know, the animal, you might think it's something that you can just, you know, look at the skeletal and muscular system, but in fact, it's something deeper. And in fact, chiropractic, you know, being that practice of chiropractic can hurt the animal if you push on the wrong thing, if there's something pressuring the spine. We heard different scenarios in ag subcommittee. So I just was hoping that there would be someone here who can answer how they would avoid those scenarios that would increase harm to horses, dogs, cats, pigs. I mean, I think that would be something that would be beneficial. And I'm just struggling. I mean, initially I was on the fence when the sponsor came to me about this bill, but the more that I hear about it, you know, just like the veterinarians, if they tried to operate on us, we would go report them. And even if they got a few extra hours of training, we would not want them operating on humans because it took extensive 3+ years of training. And so we're telling chiropractors, if you just get 210 hours, you can be somebody who can look at a hurt animal or animal that's in pain or animal that's in tension. And that's where I'm struggling to follow you all. And so I'm just that's my difficulty right now. And so I don't know if there's even how many animal chiropractors are in Tennessee. I don't know if any of them could have come here. We didn't have any in subcommittee. So we haven't heard anybody, and I haven't got any emails or communication from anybody who practices animal chiropractic. And I looked through my inbox this weekend just to check, because I wanted to be able to correspond and ask them questions, but I didn't see anybody who practices this who actually reached out to our offices.
Dr. Cole?
Go ahead.
If you don't mind, I'd like to address this one because I think it is on me, specifically with regard to having a VCA certified providers here. We do actually have one today. As you know, they're doctors of chiropractic. Every time we come up here, they're missing an opportunity with their patients, and that costs them a lot. But more importantly, because of the ambiguous ability to have clarity within this issue, many of them have received emails, much like you, that have not been positive. So I've not wanted to highlight them in that way. Again, I'm happy to have one of them come by. They can speak more articulately on the specifics of the animals and their training, but the course is online. It's available for you. I'm sorry, I've lost my voice, but it is available for you to see that the training itself is far broad. But the number one thing that should be noted is they are taught what is not chiropractic, what is not veterinary care. And the collaboration is intentional and meant to be the ability to make sure and rule out what it is not. So we would not treat what is not veterinary care.
Representative Alexander.
And I'll make it really quick. My concern is that if you all have already been doing this for hundreds of years, as it has been said, then why would you have had to bring a bill to, it's like you're all are wanting to try to get out of your lane. You're not vets. And so it appears to me that's what we're dealing with. And I'm just really concerned of the precedent we're going to set if we pass this bill, because these vets have been trained hours and hours and hours. And they have the skill and the ability, and their active practice tells them what they can do and what they cannot do. And I just think we each need to stay in our own lanes. We have tried to collaborate, the vets have, with the chiropractors. And I just think even my amendment would have been a collaboration. It would have been a step to collaborate together, but was not received in this committee. So anyway, thank you.
Either one of you?
Yes, I'll be happy to address that. Thank you, Representative Alexander. I think it's important to note that we are not trying to get out of our lane. As a matter of fact, this is exactly what we do and what we do really well. Our patients and animal owners have made this such an important push that national certifications were created for that benefit solely. And that is what we do agree on, is that the services that we provide on animals work and they are effective in a way that it should be recognized. Now, representing chiropractic for some time, healthcare overall, I've noted that there is no one healthcare entity that has stayed the same over the last 20 years. We have all come to you and evolved over time. That's what this is doing. The language that the vets have within their rules that speaks to us as a profession, because chiropractic is a discipline, it's not an individual treatment. The treatment that we provide, however, is different. So if it's not talking about us, it shouldn't be talking about chiropractic at all. And therefore, this codifies and protects the vets that have that additional training, because many have not had the training and are stating chiropractic care. And there have also been complaints in that area as well. And that is what it does for us, is make sure we do stay in our lane. And the Board of Examiners can cite rules and accountabilities that would enforce that. So the amendment did not do that. It was a lateral of oversight, and the ambiguous language, unfortunately, did not make it any more clear than is what is going on now.
Representative Idle.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you both sides for presenting your points. I think most of us up here are new to this subject over the last couple weeks as this discussion has evolved. I did receive emails from both chiropractors and veterinarians. And in talking to both, I found out the practice is quite prevalent, to my dismay. I think we all want the very best for our pets. I think we know most of the time where we need to go when our pet is injured or expressing pain. We know the difference between a limp or arthritis or a broken bone, especially on small mammals. I've come to the understanding that are massage therapists able to work on animals?
Either one of you.
So several years ago, much like this, the recognition of massage and the work on animals being beneficial, there was a bill brought that required certification that did make it permissive. Massage therapists that are certified under the state of Tennessee may not have that certification. They would have to meet the criteria of that certification. But yes, to answer your question.
Thank you.
Representative Idle.
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify that.
All right. Representative Hurt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And you just kind of touched on something that that kind of made me think a little more. The way I understand it, this practice is occurring now. So, and I'm earlier in the presentation, I'm wondering if it's occurring now, why do we need legislation? And then through the discussion, I've heard various reasons, but what you stated a minute ago, am I clear in understanding that this practice is going on now, but this legislation will do more to define and put parameters on what a chiropractor can do under the care, as opposed to now they're just providing care and there's really no kind of guidelines or parameters? Am I understanding that part right?
That's correct, sir.
Either one of you.
That's correct, Representative Hurt. Right now, there are no standards, so a chiropractor can try to work on an animal just if he wants to. This would prevent that. This is a public protection initiative that would say you cannot adjust an animal unless you're ABCA certified, whether you're a vet or a chiropractor. You've got to learn something beyond your core training if you're going to provide chiropractic care to animals.
Representative Hurt.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't have it. Representative Fritz, did you want to be on this or on the bill? Okay, we've got you on that list. Okay, don't see any other folks for our guests. Thank you both for being here. And thank the vets for also being here and sharing with us. Without objection, we'll go back into session. We're back in session. We're on the bill. And first I have Representative Hurt on the list. Okay, just that. Representative Doggett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I'll just start out by saying I'm not in opposition to chiropractic care on animals whatsoever. The only concern I have, and I think about scenarios that, because if you go back and look, and I think about being an auctioneer. If I'm an auctioneer, I could do a lot of things. I can also be a realtor. I can sell real property. For me in this state to be an auctioneer, and both of those are housed under two different commissions. You've got the Auctioneer Commission and the Tennessee Real Estate Commission, but they fall under the Department of Commerce and Insurance. But if I'm going in this state, if I'm going to be an auctioneer and sell real property, I have to also be licensed as an affiliate broker or a broker of a real estate firm in order to do that. I look at the Board of Veterinarian Examiners and the Board of Chiropractic Examiners, and they both fall under the Department of Health. And so my only hang up on this, the only reason that I would be in opposition of this is I feel like that if we're going to have a certification program for chiropractic care of animals, that certification or license should be housed under the Board of Veterinarian Examiners. That's my only objection to it. I'm certainly not opposed to, because I know I've got constituents that have called that have said that they, in the walking horse industry or other things that they do with animals, that they utilize chiropractic care, and it does really great things for them. But my personal opinion, the only reason I'd be in objection to this is that I just feel like it ought to be housed, that licensure or certification to do that ought to be housed under the Board of Veterinarian Examiners, and kind of like similar to that, and other licensure, other professions that you can have, where sometimes you do things that correlate together, that coincide, that are very similar, but you have to be licensed in under different boards. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Speaker Marsh.
Thank you. And I understand if this bill passes here today, it will go to Health Committee and will be discussed further, and maybe that will come up.
And we have Representative Fritz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To the sponsor, I appreciate you bringing this to clarify this. I think this is a basic property rights bill. I think that the people own those animals, and they should not be forced in any manner to have to pay twice to get services to care for the animal that they're either loving or raising to be slaughtered for food. So thank you.
Representative Marsh.
And thank you. I do agree. I think that we should have a choice. If you want to take them to a vet first, then have at it. If you want to go to a chiropractor first and the chiropractor says you need to go to a vet, then that's what we should do. And I want to say something about the training. The way I understand, these animal chiropractors, they go to the university for 4 years, and then they go to a chiropractic school for another 4 years, And then if they want to do animals, they go for 200 or 300 more hours to work on animals with a continuing education. And to my opinion, what's going on, I haven't heard of a single incident where there's been a problem with this, which would bring this on, except I think the veterinarians are coming out and saying, we think you should come to us first. And I think what we're trying to do is draw up rules and regulations that says, we'll stay in our lane, you stay in your lane, we'll work together as much as we can, and we'll keep our animals safe.
I don't have anybody else on the list. Anyone else for our sponsor? Okay. If you're ready to vote, without objection, we'll be voting on House Bill 164 as amended. Clerk, please open the vote. Clerk, please take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 10 ayes, 6 nays.
Motion carries. This bill moves on to the Health Committee. Next, we would fail to announce that item number 4, House Bill 940 has been rolled 1 week. Without objection, that'll be rolled 1 week. Number 5, House Bill 646 by Representative Carringer. We have a motion and a second. You are recognized on House Bill 646.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, committee. This is simply a addition to the legal hunter safety colors in Tennessee. We have the fluorescent orange, and we just want to add blaze pink. And thank you to the committee members who have on your blaze pink ties. I'm running out, so I got to hurry up and get to the House floor. I'm running out of pink. This isn't the exact color of pink, but we're going with it today. So just like fluorescent orange, fluorescent pink is considered a safety color. There's already 12 other states that support this change. And I know we got Chairman Grills, Chairman Darby, and several of you men who have daughters that are also into hunting. And so we just want to extend this to maybe up Tennessee's level. We're already one of the highest populations of sportswomen at 25%. And so we just want to encourage female hunters and to get out there. And of course, it's a perfect day for outdoors in Tennessee. And so I'd just like to ask the chairman and committee to support our women and any of our men who would like to wear fluorescent pink also. So anyway, with that, I'll ask for your vote.
Okay, I don't have anybody on our list. Nice to have something non-controversial. So if you're ready to vote, clerk, please open the board.
I should take a picture of this also.
Hey, clerk, please take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 16 ayes, no nays.
And before Representative Carringer runs out of pink, we will, this motion carries and we'll move on to calendar and rules.
Thank you, Chairman and committee.
Next, we have item number 6, House Bill 938 by Representative Capley. We have a motion and a second. Representative Capley, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee. House Bill 938 permits the hunting of white-tailed deer with bait on private land with a bait privilege license, requires all hunters, including those normally exempt, to obtain a license. It also establishes a deer baiting license with fees set at $50 for residents and $100 for non-residents of the state, while granting the Fish and Wildlife Commission the authority to adjust the fees as necessary, and also requires the commission to promulgate the rules by August 1st, 2026, specifying the acceptable bait types, permitted quantities, and conditions for license and use. Grants TWRA the authority to suspend baiting privileges and to prevent disease spread. And that's what the bill does.
And I think you have an amendment that was also added in sub. We have to add it officially here, drafting code 4641. Is that correct?
I believe that is correct, good sir. Let me double check. Yes, sir.
Okay. We have a motion and a second on the amendment. If you're ready to vote, we'll be voting on the amendment. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. The amendment goes on the bill.
Thank you, sir.
And did you describe the bill as amended?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. First on our list, we have Representative Jones.
Thank you so much. I reached out to some friends who are hunters just to kind of get some clarity on this bill, and there were some concerns brought up. Number one, with bait hunting, laying out corn where you can just stay there and shoot the deer, there was concerns about the spread of disease because you'd be having these deer congregate in one area, saliva, urine, feces, all in this area. It's not like if it was natural. And so there's a concern about the spread of disease, not just with deer, but other animals that may feed on the corn, turkeys, birds, rodents, and squirrels. They may spread that disease because if you just leave corn sitting out there. So this was a big concern I got from some hunters. Can you respond to that?
Representative Kaplan?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for the question. Yeah, so we addressed this, I know, talked briefly about it in sub, but the bill is designed to where the TWRA can kind of focus on the spread of disease, like you said, the spreading of corn, et cetera, et cetera. So we can kind of track how that moves from deer to whatever, turkey to whatever. So that's kind of the main premise behind this, is that people are doing this now, and we want to set up a program where they can get a license and kind of study it going forward of how the bait is involved with the disease aspect of it. So that's addressed in the language.
So are you saying it's legal now?
Whether it's legal or not, it's on private property. So, I mean, they can't necessarily come on the private property now anyway because of recent court cases. So, I mean, I don't know if I'm not an attorney. We might have to ask legal, but I know people are doing it. So, I mean, I'm just being honest. They are. So,
Representative Jones?
I think the other concern too that I heard from hunters, they said, if I would have shot the biggest buck ever, and then I told you that I shot it over a pile of corn, that is not the art of hunting. Hunting is not just killing, but it's also the art of knowing the biology of that animal, knowing how to track it. And so like this would be removing that aspect of it. And it kind of seems lazy. It seems lazy if you just put out corn and then just open fire on a group of deer. It seems lazy to me. And so if we really want to honor the art of hunting, know how to track the tracks, know where they congregate, know their patterns, know more about the animal. That's a part of hunting, it seems like. And like even the David Crockett and Boone, they had, their hunting society. You saw some objections on their website. The hunters I talked to said this is lazy hunting. How would you respond to that?
Representative Capley?
As far as the bill goes, it's designed to set up a licensure program so TWRA can track, follow, and kind of understand why people are baiting, how they're baiting, and how the bait affects the disease rate of animals. Whether or not I can speak to the sportsman-like quality of hunting over bait, I've personally never done that, so I couldn't go into that. So,
Representative Jones.
Thank you. I mean, there's like a lot of concerns about this, and this is actually a debate within, it seems like, the hunter community right now. Because the other thing that this can impact is the ecology and the normal gathering of these of deer, for example. If you put all this corn in one area, they're not going to be spread out. They're not going to be migrating as they would. They won't be going around as they would. They would just be congregating with these unnatural food sources that can have an impact on their health, impact on the spread of disease. It just seems like there's a lot of negative ecological impacts. And so, I don't know, it seems concerning. And so did hunters bring you this bill, or where did this bill come from?
Representative Capley, and before you answer that, I wanted to just clarify, will the permit allow the agency to monitor that permit in that location? Does that give them the ability to do that, which they wouldn't have now under a baiting scenario?
Yeah. Thank you, Chair. But yes, sir, it would.
Okay, then if you. Well, he just answered mine, but I want him to answer yours. That was a point of clarification I wanted to make, because I think it's pertinent to all this information.
Yes, no. This was a constituent bill, an idea from a group of constituents of mine. I filed it in conjunction with several other parties up here. I mean, when you file bills, lots of people get invested and involved, and it just kind of developed, and here we are.
Representative Fritz, you are recognized.
Question on the bill.
We've got a motion for previous question, and I don't have a second, so that fails for lack of a second. Next on my list, I have Chairman Grills. We have objections to the question, so we'll be voting on previous question. Clerk, please open the board. Well, actually, we don't have to open the board. I'll take ayes on that. So if you're in favor of previous question, stop and debate, vote aye. Aye. Opposed? No. The ayes have it. We'll be voting now on House Bill 938 as amended. Please open the board.
Well, dang it.
Okay, clerk, please take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 13 ayes, 3 nays.
Okay, House Bill 938 as amended moves on to GovOps.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, committee.
Next, we have House Bill 918 by Representative Slater. We have a motion and a second, sir. And I believe you do have an amendment.
Yes, that drafting code is 5237.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the amendment. If that makes the bill, then we'll put that on the bill if that's what you'd like. So all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Amendment goes on the bill. You're recognized on the bill as amended, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There are some excellent not-for-profit organizations that assist disabled veterans in various ways. Some of these organizations reunite service members by providing hunting retreats in our beautiful state. This legislation will provide a temporary hunting license for disabled veterans when they are part of a hunting experience that is sponsored and paid for by not-for-profit organization. With that brief explanation, I stand ready for questions.
Thank you for that. Any questions? Don't see any questions, comments for the sponsor. So without objection, we'll be voting on House Bill 918 as amended. Clerk, please open the vote. As every member voted, any member wish to change their vote? Clerk, please take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 16 ayes, 0 nays.
House Bill 918 as amended moves on to calendar and rules.
Thank you, Chairman and committee.
Next, we have House Bill 199 by Representative Reeves. We have a motion and a second. And I believe you have an amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I do, and it's drafting code 6350.
We have a motion and a second on the amendment. All in favor of the amendment, say aye. Opposed? The amendment goes on the bill. You are recognized on the bill as amended.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So as a reminder, this bill simply extends to 9 contract counties the a variance appeal process to TDEC for certain septic systems. And the bill as amended actually addresses several things that were brought up a couple weeks ago as potential concerns. And I think I've addressed those directly. It does not apply to a sewerage system, a public or community sewer system. Those are covered under a different section, but I have referenced them here just to be clear about that. It does not apply to a subdivision or a neighborhood, an SSDS system that might be tied into multiple lots. Nor does it apply to a single lot with multiple homes, as was described in a hypothetical example, all homes rented out under the same property owner. And so we've worked hard with TDEC to come up with language that addresses those concerns. And with that, I'll answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Representative Vida.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, member, for your explanation and working through rolling this a couple weeks to bring the amendment into play that does help clarify the intent. I still have some concerns and reservations about the ability here for a decision that could be overrode at the local level and taken to the state where there might be a more stringent condition in place in the local community, which we are sensitive to, the neighbors are sensitive to, and the developer or the home builder, in this case, it wouldn't be the developer, it'd be the home builder, could then appeal to TDEC. We kind of have mixed signals. Sometimes we want to use TDEC to be an enforcer, and other times we want to loose them up. So I do still have concerns about this bill, but thank you for working with me on this to this point, but I do oppose the bill. Thank you.
Representative Reeves.
Yeah, thank you for those comments, Representative Vidal, and I do appreciate those comments. You know, one of the counties most different than TDEC standards is Williamson County, which is my county. Interestingly to me, Hamilton County is the most like TDEC standards according to TDEC. And I will just note that respectfully, I don't believe this bill undermines local control. I think that inherent in any contract that delegates some state authority, there should be some level of accountability, and that's what the bill does. Thank you, though.
Okay. I don't have anybody else on my list, so if you're ready to vote, clerk, please open the vote. Has every member voted? Any member wish to change their vote? Clerk, please take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 9 ayes, 6 nays.
With that, House Bill 199 as amended moves on to calendar and rules.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, committee.
Next, we have item number 9, House Bill 660 by Representative Jones. We have a motion and a second. You are recognized on the bill. Is there an amendment?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Drafting Code 4569.
Okay. We have a motion and a second on the amendment. That makes the bill. If you're ready to vote on that, put that amendment on. All in favor say aye. Opposed? The amendment goes on the bill. You're recognized on the bill as amended.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A few years ago, the city of Irwin created the Irwin Utilities Authority and transferred the city's utility operations over to this new utility authority. This bill clarifies the ability of this utility authority to continue to enforce the water and wastewater regulations that were in effect at the time the city transferred its utility operations over to the new entity. This became an issue just recently as we were going through the recovery efforts and we lost our wastewater plant. The question was recently came up about the ability of the utility authority to use the rules that the city had previously established for Irwin Utilities. So this is just a technical amendment, a technical bill that'll clear that up for our utility to continue to work like it was prior to becoming its own authority.
Okay.
So with that, I stand open for questions.
Chairman Grills.
Question on the bill.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for a previous question. Without objection, we'll be voting. Clerk, please take the vote. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Clerk, please take the vote.
We have 16 ayes, 0 nays.
House Bill 660 as amended moves on to calendar and rules.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee.
And next, we may have time for one more. House Bill 589, item number 10. We have a motion and a second. Representative Jones, you are recognized. I do see an amendment.
Yes, this one also has an amendment. 5942 is the drafting code.
Okay. We have a motion and a second on the amendment. It rewrites the bill. So if you want to put that on, all in favor say aye. Opposed? The amendment goes on the bill. So you're recognized on the bill as amended.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This legislation modernizes the current Tennessee Agriculture Hall of Fame to the Tennessee Agriculture and Forestry Hall of Fame. Tennessee's Ag Hall of Fame is the oldest known of its type by any state, and this bill just updates the original 1930s law to today's standards. It does have a 9-member board that will consist of a member from the Department of Ag, the UT Institute of Agriculture, TSU, the president of the Tennessee Farm Bureau, Tennessee FFA, appointees from the governor's office, the lieutenant governor, and the speaker. So with that, I stand for questions.
I don't see anyone on my list for questions. So if you're ready to vote, clerk, please open the board. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Clerk, please take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 16 ayes, 0 nays.
With that, House Bill 589 as amended moves on to Government Operations Committee.
Thank you, Committee and
I
Chairman.
believe that's all the time we have for today. All remaining bills left on the calendar will be rolled to the next calendar, to next week. So we'll roll all those bills. And if there are no other business for the committee, we will stand adjourned.